findings aren't the most reliable and accurate because they haven't really been tested in different situations. So in the U.S., most commonly ingested through inhalation of hand-rolled marijuana cigarettes, known as joints, or tobacco leaves, known as blunts. However, by now you can consume marijuana in a million different ways, including eating it, applying it through chapstick, like literally spraying it on yourself, because of medical marijuana kind of paving the way and starting a new market in states that it's legal. So the high. I'm going to play this video.
So we have another little video.
For centuries, humans have been using substances to alter their state of mind, from caffeine, cigarettes, and alcohol to more extreme drugs. But as the most commonly used illicit drug in North America, where does marijuana fit in, and how exactly does it affect your brain? First, we need to understand how the brain functions. Your neurons are the cells that process information in the brain. By releasing chemicals called neurotransmitters from the axon of one neuron to the dendrite of another, they change the electrical charge of the receiving neuron, consequently exciting or inhibiting it. If excited, the signal is passed on. Though it sounds simple, these signals work together, and the effect is quickly compounded into complex configurations within milliseconds, flushing over the entire brain. This is what happens every single time you think, breathe, or move. So what's going on inside your brain when you're smoking marijuana? Well, unlike alcohol, which contains molecules nothing like those in our body, cannabis contains molecules that resemble those produced in our very own brains, cannabinoids. Though naturally these cannabinoids circulate in much lower quantities compared to the large influx imposed by smoking. Specifically, the chemical tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, resembles a natural transmitter called anandamide. These cannabinoids are specialized neurotransmitters released by neurons having just fired. Neurons temporarily become unresponsive after firing to prevent them from overreacting or being too dominant. This allows your brain to function in a calm and controlled manner, but cannabinoids interrupt this approach in some parts of the brain. Instead, they remove the refractory period of neurons that are already active and cause your thoughts, imagination, and perception to utterly magnify itself. This means once you begin your train of thought, it becomes the most significant and profound thing ever. You can't see the big picture or even recall your last epiphany because you're caught up in the momentum of a particular idea, and your neurons keep firing until a new idea takes hold and you go off on a new tangent. These cannabinoids also affect the levels of dopamine and norepinephrine in your brain, often leading to a sense of euphoria, relaxation, pain modulation, and general enhancement of an experience, though sometimes causing anxiety. Furthermore, there are cannabinoid receptors in areas controlling short-term memory, learning, coordination, movement control, and higher cognitive function. Got a burning question you want to answer? Ask it in the comments.
So yeah, that was kind of like a little biological breakdown of just how THC interacts within your brain. But you know, smoking marijuana inhalation, it's rapid absorption through the lungs, so effects are felt within seconds. Peak levels of THC within the blood occur about like 10 to 15 minutes after. It can persist for 2 to 4 hours. The physiological effects, those how many, during the initial ingestion, heart rate can increase up to 160 beats per minute. Dilation of blood vessels can happen an hour later. Cotton mouth can occur, so like kind of like an urge to drink, and like motor abilities. So just anything having to do with moving, any short-term memory tasks will be affected by the high of marijuana. So the psychological and behavioral effects, sense of euphoria, well-being, increased awareness of surrounding, sharpened sense of sight and sound, creativity and perception, as mentioned in the video. Everything might appear funny, you know, something super mundane might end up like rolling with laughter. That's just the way it kind of like affects the brain. Time seems to pass by more slowly. Sleepiness and feeling dreamy is pretty commonly reported, and it typically causes like a rush of distracting ideas that makes it difficult to concentrate on new information coming in, especially because the short-term memory is affected, so it's really hard to like remember what you were just thinking about, even if it was the most important thing just a few minutes ago. Right, so chronic abuse of chronic. The sensitization, or AKA reverse tolerance. So because marijuana THC gets absorbed through your fat tissue, it means it gets excreted through your body a lot slower compared to other drugs, which means it ends up, it like lasts on a drug test longer. It stays within your fat molecules, and it causes this phenomenon called reverse tolerance, which is pretty much instead of the usual tolerance growing as you smoke more or daily or frequently, daily marijuana smokers actually need less marijuana to get high, to get high quicker, because of the amount of THC already stored in their fat. Some of it gets excreted when they smoke, so it kind of adds to the quantity of whatever they're using at the moment. So daily smokers report feeling sensitized. They need less to feel it faster. It kind of works differently than most drugs. With withdrawal and dependence, short-term memory and cognitive functioning is affected at all times. If you're constantly under the influence of marijuana, once you stop, you are gonna, your dopamine receptors are gonna be kind of craving some sort of rush. So you might feel very lethargic. You might not be like remembering everything spot on, kind of like fragmented thoughts in a way. You might be overwhelmingly sleepy, trouble concentrating, and just general kind of like a gloomy mood. And then lastly, cardiovascular effects. So there's a lot of controversy because of lung cancer and how tobacco contains carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and tar. And people aren't really sure how much is in marijuana because of the multiple strains found. But it's pretty much, it's given that it's about 17.6 milligrams of carbon monoxide in a marijuana joint compared to 20.2 in a tobacco joint. But you have to keep in mind that somebody who's smoking isn't going to be smoking as often as a cigarette smoker, just because the effects of THC last longer than they do with nicotine. Then there's no evidence of birth effects in offspring of women who have smoked marijuana during the pregnancy. It's kind of just like a myth that hasn't really been researched far enough. It's still advised not to, but there hasn't been any clear indications that it harms. And then we have the gateway hypothesis that marijuana, it causes you to try other drugs. That's also been debunked over the years. That's more of a matter of social and peer influence and pressure.
So the prevalence and what? 36% annually use marijuana, 55.1% daily use it. Marijuana is still considered illegal under the federal government. However, some states have made the use of medical and some recreational marijuana legal. I find that very contradicting because how would the states legalize it when the federal government has it illegal? It's really weird to me, but that's how it is. Some of the recreational use states that made marijuana legal is Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, Alaska, Massachusetts, and Maine. The medical use that the states made illegal was Arkansas, Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, New Jersey, North Dakota, Ohio, and I'm pretty sure New York. A lot of the other states that are not listed here, I'm pretty sure it's still illegal under the medical and the recreational use, but those are some of the states that have it legal in one or the other.
So annual and 30-day usage reported by undergrad students has been steadily rising since 2006, and we believe like a lot of it has to do with like the destigmatization of marijuana. It's not viewed as the worst, most dangerous thing in the world anymore. It's kind of being accepted in the public eye a little more over recent years, especially with the introduction of medical marijuana and recreational marijuana states. So I think that has a lot to do with kind of leading, first-year college students, second-year college students experimenting with marijuana because it's not seen as something that is going to be fatal to your future anymore.
So trivia, answer these questions and we'll answer them. No, just get in there. We discuss it first and then we answer them.
Level of intelligence of the brain, how do you function with that? Using artificial intelligence is referred to as using drugs illegally. If you use drugs for anything, you're not
Okay, so everyone ready?
Yeah.
Question number 1. What is Adderall commonly prescribed for?
Maybe.
I'll let you guys answer.
ADD and ADHD.
Yep, correct. There's also a few other things that we prescribe for, but that is the most common thing.
Second question. What kind of drug is Adderall considered to be? The green button.
All right.
No, I was going to say the answer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can we steal?
That is correct. We're looking for it's a psychostimulant. It's affects the central nervous system, your brain, and all the reflexes.
So the third question, is it true or false? Adderall can help increase your IQ. Green. False.
That's correct. A lot of people think that they call it the smart drug or smart pill, but it's actually shown to decrease academic performance if you're misusing it, just because of the potential that it has. It kind of has you using it recreationally more than for academic purposes if you're not prescribed it. Number 4, using Adderall without prescription for it is referred to as
M-A-Y-E, let's go with maybe.
Wow.
I thought you were like spelling out misuse. So I thought you were spelling out misuse because I think I got it right.
Drug use.
I just gave away the answer. So yeah, using Adderall without for it is referred to as misuse, which is illegal. Adderall can come in both an instant release form and an extended release form. Yeah. Instant release form typically lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Extended release lasts anywhere from 8 to 14 hours. It's just a process that we do in your body. So Adderall is one of the more popular and widespread pharmaceutical stimulants available for treatment of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and even for those without the hyperactivity or just the attention deficit disorder. It's widely prescribed for young kids, particularly elementary school. Kids who are diagnosed by the teachers most of the time that like go to parents for referrals, that they're unable to maintain proper attention levels and control their impulses while in class. So they kind of get referred to the doctor just to sort of get their stuff together. It works by increasing the availability of certain neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and in the human brain. These brain chemicals are responsible for boosting alertness, attention, and mood levels. It also increases the heart rate and the flow of blood to the muscles that keep the brain active. So non-medical use. For those of us who decide to try to use Adderall without having been prescribed it by a doctor, can experience feelings of boosted energy and intense invigoration, similar to the high cocaine users. College students can be tempted to experiment with this, especially during stressful academic periods, in order to increase concentration, stay awake, and keep focused on study. However, short-term effects might include appetite suppression and unhealthy weight loss, irritability, trouble sleeping, feelings of restlessness, and heart stress, maybe even heart palpitations if you're using constantly. It's become notorious for its high potential for abuse. In 1996, in UK, there was a lot of concerns raised towards pharmacists who are prescribing Adderall and Ritalin, which is another psychostimulant prescribed for ADHD, because high school kids and college kids were being found like abusing them, just crushing them up, serving them for quicker highs, for recreational purposes or to enhance academic performance. So it's been on the radar since 2000 as a potential danger. Abuse may lead to negative overall symptoms such as fatigue, feelings of depression, and lethargy, and increase of irritability, and decreased ability to concentrate, which is contradictory to what many think, which they assume it's going to help them out with all their schoolwork and help them get everything done. Not always the case. We have a video, but I think we're running out of time. It's another one of those 2-minute videos. We're just kind of address that. 10.7% of undergraduate students reported annual use without medical supervision. So that's risen since 6.7% in the last, from 2009 to 2013, because they do it every 4 years. So clearly it's out, it's more available. Kids are getting aware of it. You know, they're going on websites like Anna mentioned, Arrowhead, just to kind of research, do all their, you know, kind of educate themselves, and they try experimenting. This is more than the percentage rates of same age peers who don't attend college, meaning our population is more likely to experiment with these kind of drugs. Patients show that college students see it as an academic enhancer, increasing motives to try it out. But misusing pharmaceutical medications is risky business, as you all might be aware of. And then DSM-5, the Diagnostic Manual 5, the fifth version, the most recent one, it's addiction as a disease. So it's actually referred to as mental health illness now, mainly because it's pathological. It starts off somewhere, but it's known to progress to a known outcome, which is usually negative consequences or death in the worst cases. It affects everybody around you. You know, whether you're just abusing, which is just overusing, using more higher of a dosage than the effective doses. And just kind of like pushing your body in terms of how far it can go to get some sort of recreational value out of the drug. With dependence, you can become both physically dependent on the drug, meaning that your body just starts, you know, wearing down without the drug within your system, or psychologically, where you develop this mentality that you need the drug to get through your day, you need to do this or to cope with that. And that's kind of just like how DSM-5 has addressed addiction. We just wanted to talk to you guys today about, you know, alcohol and drug use and abuse, particularly within undergraduate college students. The survey that we were using should be coming out with another, you know, 4-year group and results by the end of this year. So I'm probably going to be on top of that if anybody needs to read the